Did you know that 2 women have actually been drafted into the NBA? There has been a prevailing joke over the last year calling the NBA the MNBA, or Men's National Basketball Association. But I do think it's important to acknowledge that women have been part of the history of the NBA for a long time. The very first woman that was drafted into the NBA was in 1969. At the time, the Golden State Warriors were called the San Francisco Warriors, and with their 13th round draft pick, they chose Denise Long-Reif. Denise was from a small town in Iowa and stood out enough that the Warriors had chosen her for their draft pick. However, the league commissioner at the time, Walter Kennedy, vetoed the pick on the grounds that the league did not draft players directly out of high school and they did not draft women. However, the Warriors still kept her in the family and had her play on their girls team that they sponsored for 1 season. Years later, in 1977, the New Orleans Jazz drafted another woman. They used their 7th round pick to choose Lucia Harris. Before she was drafted, she had won 3 consecutive college titles, and the year prior to her being selected in 1976, she was on Team USA participating in the very first Olympic Games that had a women's basketball tournament, and that team took home the silver medal. While she ultimately declined to play in the NBA, Lucia's draft pick was not vetoed, making her the first official woman to ever be drafted into the NBA. While she did not play in the NBA, she did go on to play for the Women's Professional Basketball League, and she was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. If you want to learn more about Harris's legacy, in 2021, a short documentary was released about her called The Queen of Basketball, and in 2022, that documentary won an Oscar. Women like these are the trailblazers that came before the current version of women's basketball that we have now, with not only massive growth in the WNBA, but also new leagues like Unrivaled, and the possibility of real money being made by women's basketball players. The current state of women's basketball is looking brighter every day, but every once in a while I think it's important to look back at the women who came first and made this version of women's basketball possible.